Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my second tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to focus on Google Classroom again, but this time from the teacher's perspective. So teachers will be looking at things like how to post different kinds of assignments, how to view student work and leave feedback, as well as how to organize your classwork so that it's really user-friendly for you and your students. We're going to get started today by checking out my 7th period English 1. So let's head on over there. Alright, so first things first, this is your home screen, your news feed. You can scroll down to see everything you have posted, all the assignments, all the updates, all the check-ins, as well as questions that students have left you based on the things you have posted. Most importantly, today we're going to check out this classwork page. Now, classwork is where you can create any different kind of assignment for your students. And today we are going to check out the assignment, quiz assignment, question, and material tab, as well as this topics tab to see what each of those do. So we're going to start today with the assignment tab, but I'm actually going to show you that through an assignment I started making this morning. So we're going to go down here. We're going to edit this one. All right. So if you open up assignment, it's going to look like this. It'll ask you for a title. It'll ask you for directions. These are all things the students will be able to see. And then you can add any assignment, slides, a document, a form from Google Drive. You can put a link, a file, or a YouTube video. Today I went in and I added this document. It's a short story called Harrison Bergeron, as well as questions and a writing opportunity that go with it. That's what I want my students working on the week we get back from break. And I'm going to press this button here, make a copy for each student, because I want every student to be able to go in and annotate that story, answer the questions, and do the writing on their own. So they each have a separate copy of my original document. Let's say instead I wanted all of my students working together to add things to a class set of Google Slides. We're making a PowerPoint set of slides together. I want each of them to add one slide. If I was trying to do something like that, where all my students are collaborating together at the same time on one document, I would press Students Can Edit File. I don't usually use this because 30 kids on one document can get overwhelmed pretty quickly, but it is an option. You can also press Students Can View File. This might be useful if, say, I wanted to also add another document along with the story, which is background information on the story and the author. I don't actually want students to edit my background information document, so I might make that one view only. But then this one, they can still make a copy and do their own questions and annotations in here. Okay. Over on the side, you'll see I scheduled this to post the day we get back from spring break. So even if, for whatever reason, I'm not on my computer remembering to post this in the morning, it's going to automatically post to all of my kids at 8 a.m. on Monday. You can pick which classes you want to set this up to send to. So there will be a drop-down menu, and you can press all of the classes that are the same. I might pick all 3 of my English 1 classes. Point value, due date, we'll look at topic later. And students, so if I pick this drop-down menu here, it's going to show me all of my students in this class. You can select certain students only to send this assignment to, and I found that that's mostly useful with diverse learners. So if I wanted to post 2 versions of an assignment and post a slightly different version or a different resource for certain students and not for others. So you can do that when you check which students do you want to send this to. And then up here, you're either going to press Assign if you want it to post immediately, or because I scheduled it to post in 2 weeks, I'm going to press Schedule. All right. Now, other kinds of assignments you can create. That was the Assignment tab. You can also make a quiz. Now, I don't use this very often, but I'll show you how to, and I'll explain why I don't use it. So, same as the other assignment, you make a title, you make directions for the kids. Now, you have to use Google Forms to make your quiz. Google Forms is amazing. It lets you put all different kinds of questions, short answer, multiple choice. You can even make an answer key for any multiple choice answers, and it'll grade those for you. The reason I don't use this very often is because our students don't have computers. Most of them are doing their work on their phone, and most of them do not have Google Forms downloaded, which is just an additional app they would have to download to work on their quiz. If they had Chromebooks, there's this amazing feature where you can lock the quiz so they can't open any other tabs and they can't exit out of the quiz without finishing it. So that's a really good way to check your academic dishonesty if your kids have Chromebooks, which ours don't. All of this is the same. Drop-down menu, which classes do you want to take this quiz? All my English 1, due date, etc. I'm going to exit out of this because I don't actually want to post this quiz. You can also create a question. I mostly use this for formative assessment because it's going to be one single question. So maybe when my kids are reading Harrison Bergeron, I want to check in and see if they're understanding it. So I might just ask, do you think that society is truly equal? In our short story this week. Woo! And then students could maybe type their explanation, yes or no, and why. If this is more of a multiple choice answer, you can also do that and add a couple options. And that's it. It's just one question. It's not a whole quiz, it's just a single question for students to engage with. Over on the side, you can put whether or not students can see one another's responses. If they can, maybe you can open that up for more of a discussion later, but I would usually say no, I don't want them to see everyone else's responses. And then you can ask. All right. And the final kind of post you can make is material. This is not work you want students to actually do anything with, just work you want to make sure they see. So maybe this is going to be a set of slides that you want them to look through. Maybe this is for remote learning, a link to your online recorded lecture. Maybe it's the syllabus for your class. But whatever it is, you'll see there's no due date, there's no point value, there's no way for them to edit anything. It's just something you want them to view. I haven't used this before, but I'll probably be using it for my online lectures over the next couple weeks. All right. So that is all of the different kinds of assignments that you can create in classwork. Now we're going to talk about this thing called topics, and I'm going to show you that in my public speaking class. All right. So I've been using Google Classroom with my public speaking kids since September, so we actually have a good number of assignments in our Google Classroom already. You will see down here that I started organizing these by units. So when we did our post-secondary unit talking about resumes, emails, interviews, I organized this so it was labeled for them and they knew what was going on, what work was being assigned for our current unit only. Right now that we're on remote learning, they're working on a journal each month for an independent project. I labeled these independent projects so they would know what it was. These assignments up here are more what your classwork will usually look like for you and students. It's just a list with dates. It's really easy to add these headings if you want to by going to Create, Topic. I might add a topic called TED Talks because we did a unit where kids made their own TED Talks. Now, really simple to move these assignments is I can just drag and drop each of my assignments related to TED Talks under that heading, and now that's organized just like everything else for my students. And when you create a new assignment, you actually can give it a topic from the beginning so that you don't even have to drag and drop. Okay, so I could pick, I want to add another independent project, and I would select that. So I found is just a really good way both for me and for my students to get a visual of what's going on, which things have already ended, which projects are we currently working on, and you can change these titles whenever you want to. Okay. All right. The next thing I want to show you is how to view your students' work and how to leave feedback on it. So let's go to this class and let's go to their their March journals. These were due last week. So I have this view because I'm a teacher. Students wouldn't be able to see this. I assigned 30 journals, 30 students in this class. 27 were assigned but not turned in, and 3 of them were turned in. So I know 3 of my kids did this extra credit journal and want me to review it and grade it. Now I can see the 27 that didn't do it, and the 3, wishful thinking, the 3 that did. And here, if I open any of these documents, I can leave the student independent comments. I can leave her private comments, I can leave her a grade, and then I can press return so that she can see her grade and her comments. You can also do this kind of quickly if you're just doing it more for participation. You can type in each grade here. Oh, go down to the next one. Whatever, I'll delete these later because these are not their real grades, and press return, and all of them would get their grades immediately. They won't have any comments unless you went in and added them separately, but you can add those comments here, and you can give them a score here. Again, none of that is visible to the student, the grade and such, unless you press return. So you'd want to make sure you press return so they know you've already graded it. Okay. The last thing I wanted to show you in Google Classroom is a little tricky because I don't actually want to show you my students' grades or contact information. But if we go to People, this is going to show you a list of all of the students in your class. It's also going to give you this awesome option to invite their guardian. So if I want one of my students' parent in the class so they can get updates every week on what kind of work their student is supposed to be doing, I could type in an email address here, press invite, and that parent or guardian will get an email asking them if they want to join our Google Classroom. They won't join it as a student, they'll just get updates about what's supposed to be done in this class for students. They can see the grades, they can see the comments, but only for their individual child. You can also send emails this way, although I usually just use Aspen, but it's possible. I'm not going to show you gradebook because I don't want you to see all my students' grades, but the last tab up here on the right is their grades. If you click on this, you can see anyone who did submit each of your assignments. You can see whose are missing, and you can just kind of compare it with Aspen to make sure you don't have anybody's assignment in as missing when they actually turned it in Classroom. So it's just kind of a good place to check and compare with your actual gradebook. All right. I think that's just about all for Google Classroom today. If you have anything else you want me to cover, please just leave comments or shoot me an email, and I'll try to answer as many questions as